Where's this mic supposed to go?
This is the big one. I'm gonna finish the bike today. Yeah, there's not much to it. I need to do cables. I need to finish the drivetrain, put a chain on it, and probably swap the saddle out. Oh, forgot the reflector too. Can't believe no one has commented on that. And I'm sorry in advance if you hear background noise. It's not my fault. My bike shop's also a bar, so just the way it is. So I think to start, I want to address the drivetrain because originally I was going to do gears and I was going to make maybe an 8-speed, and I'm pretty sure I said this in the last video that it's a cop-out to go single speed. I'm going to do a single speed because the shifter that I have doesn't really fit with the brake levers very well, and it kind of gets in the way. Let me just show you. So here I am in my lowest gear, and I'm going faster, so now I'm going to start shifting. Oh, hits my hand. Look at that. Pushes you off the grip. While I love friction shifters, with how wide this brake lever is, it doesn't want to go down any further. And if I run this, wait, why don't I just run this on the inside? Oh, that's why, because the grips are too wide. I already measured that. I have already thought this through, don't worry. So I think I'm just gonna do single speed, but that does mean I need to change the gear ratio. If you can't tell, I'm just really going with the flow in this one. So this chainring is a 36, which isn't far off from what I want. Generally around town with my other single speeds, I'm running a 40-15-ish, and this is a 36-16. And what I was taught is that one tooth in the back is worth 3 up front. So I still have all the chain rings that came off of this. So I'm gonna go grab one and see if maybe the tooth count works out a bit better. Here we have, I think this is actually from a different crankset. But let's just look at it for a second. It's not gonna hit here. I've got a little bit of room, so that's good because it'll move in about 1 mil this way. And it's a 46 tooth, which is a little bit bigger than I normally run. But, you know, I actually think I have something for this. So we've got all these like miscellaneous parts that sometimes we sell and sometimes we give to people. And we've had these chainring guards kicking around forever. They're cheap stamped steel. I think that this counts as nothing because they just have been sitting in the shop forever. And, oh, they're the wrong BCD. So, scrap that idea. However, I did find my old salsa chainring. I got this, it was on a bike that was set up 2x. I swapped it to be 1x, and I had this running up front. I think I paid $80 for that bike. And normally these chain rings are kind of expensive. They are pretty nice, but I don't know, maybe like 10, 15 bucks. I'm gonna do a whole tally at the end of the video, but I think that actually looked pretty good on there. So maybe I'll just throw this one on. I said this in the last video, but I've got this guy, which has little teeth on it and sits in the back of the chainring bolts. I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me do this, so I'm just gonna speed up the process again. but first I'm going to drop everything. And here's the new chain ring. That looks very nice on there, actually. I don't remember which one goes where. Should salsa go on the top? Probably. But I think that one looks much better. So I'm gonna just, you know. So why did some of them get tight, but not all of them? Probably because they're too long. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna sort that out with a file. Or find shorter back pieces. All right, I guess not all chain ring thicknesses are created equal. I went and found more spacers for the backside, but I ended up using the same bolts, and it looks pretty good on there. And I double checked the chain line, and you know, I'll just show you because it's a weird one to explain. So if you don't already know, on a single speed, you want your chain to be perfect, and you can see it is pretty much dead on. This already came on this wheel set from the other bike, so I'm going to count that in the price of the wheel set. It already has all the spacers and all that fun stuff. Chain line's mint, so I'm just going to leave it. Now we just got to choose a chain. Most bike shops should have spare chains kicking around. These are ones that have either been pulled off of something or are stretched or are offcuts, and this one is a KMC single speed chain that looks to be about full length, and let's see if this one fits. If not, I have a few other options, like that one that's really dirty, or this one that's kind of clean. There's an 11 speed and a 10 speed, but let's just see if this one fits first. So I have a feeling it might be a little short. I'm guessing that this is like one of the BMX specific ones, and it's a little, oh, that's not too bad. So add 2 links. I mean, that's pretty damn close. If I just use a quick link, I think that that's about perfect, actually. Almost 2 full links, and I'd rather have this more stretched than not. So let me just go find a quick link for this. There you go. Should be the right one. Just gonna double check that it is, and it looks like it, so this chain will work. There's a few different ways to use a derailleur as a single speed tensioner. The way that I like to run it is just by absolutely cranking the limits in so it sits right there, and then hope it never gets bumped that way. So let's do that. The high limit, and you can see as it moves, gets closer and closer, and I think that looks pretty good. We'll double check it when the chain's on. Now the low limit will only go in so far. Some derailleurs you luck out, so the low limit stops right there, which is a bummer, but Normally, it should be okay because it's holding so much tension. It takes something physically hitting it to move it in, and for around town, it's normally fine. Some people like to wrap a little cable around here to hold tension on it, put it through the barrel adjuster and barrel adjust, but that still can be flexed out. So normally the limits do a good enough job. And some derailleurs don't like to play nice with single speed chains. So we're gonna hope I chose the right one. Just gonna thread it through. That looks pretty good to me. So let's get that quick link on. And putting a quick link on is normally easier if you take the chain off the chain ring in the front. Oh God, look at how dirty that chain is. There's that. And here's this. And I'm gonna, this is one of the ones that has the slide on pin, and I just use a basic pair of pliers. Nope, I'm not gonna be able to do it first time. Oh, second try, cool. So that's on there. Now let's see. Oh, it doesn't like it. It doesn't like it at all. This quick link is fouling on the derailleur as it comes through here. And I've got a couple options of how to fix that. But I think the easiest one you're gonna like. I'm gonna try to show the problem a little bit better. This width here is too skinny for the quick link. So as it comes through, it's gonna hit and start to get stuck. So let's just make this gap wider. And I'm sure that you're not supposed to do this really on any bike, but I'm just gonna bend that out. And this would probably be a lot easier without the wheel on. I'm just gonna bend those apart, see if that's enough. Nope, not quite. Just keep going. Oh, it's actually getting stuck at the bottom now. So, you know what I'm gonna do to save myself all this hassle? I'm just gonna switch to a different chain. Building bikes is exactly like art, because no one knows exactly what they're doing. And everything is really just messing around until you get it right. So real quick, I'm gonna do the exact same process I just did with a skinnier chain. So basically any speed chain that I have kicking around. And I'll just skip through that process. So 10 speed. As a bonus, I even found a used 10-speed quick link. Boom. That's sick. And to add some tension, you can always just crank the B-tension screw out. or not if it's fully stripped. Try a flat head here. Oh no, it just looks like that's just going to be the chain tension that it has. Honestly, it's not too far off from perfect, so drivetrain, done. So I'm going to pull the grips back off, this off, set these where I want them, and then start running cabling. To do that, I need my little roller pieces for the U-brakes. Then I'll set the brake pads, and we just got to swap out the saddle, and then we're basically there. So I'm just gonna, time lapse. All right, we're set up to cable the bike. I just got to go find the roller brake pieces, so I'll be right back because I don't know where I put them. I'm not going to be using all new brake cabling. I've been saving some bits over the past few weeks. This is a new cable, but I just wanted to show you how these go together. Because honestly, I think I'm just going to skip the process because it's kind of tedious. Basically, your main cable comes down, stops here, and then you have this guy. The cable comes through here, and then this goes over the top. One end is the quick end. You can release it to get your wheel out. Slides in there. Sits over top of the pulley, and then it goes through there. And then when you pull this, brakes get pulled. It's that simple. It's pretty close to how you set up cantilevers, but I'm going to do all the brake adjustment and whatnot tomfoolery these may or may not include when I get to it off camera. And then, yeah, we're almost there. All right, as promised, I went and cabled the bike. Feels good. I don't love how these sit. I kind of imagined having a basket on it, but I didn't have one sitting around. Well, I do have the basket, but I don't have the struts for it. I've been looking for them. Oh, it's just a basic walled basket. Because of all the space here, I thought this basket would fit really well, but I don't have the struts, so for right now, that's gonna have to wait, I guess. Couldn't find anything at my local co-op. So there's one last thing to do, really, and that's to change out this saddle. It's just uncomfortable. I picked two from my parts bin. That one might be a little too jelly. But this one, it kind of fits the bike. It's an old Schwinn saddle. It says Schwinn approved, which I think is really funny. But it kind of matches the bike more. So I'm just gonna run through a time lapse of throwing that thing on. Just gonna wipe it down with a little bit of cleaner. It's definitely seen better days, but looks a lot better on this bike than the other one did. So it's the next day. There's an outfit change. I'm sorry for the continuity error, but I ran out of time. And I wanted to go over the full parts list with all the costs. And it got shitty outside, so I can't really ride it right now because it looks real nice. And I don't want to get it dirty on its first ride. But let's just hop into it. The frame itself, I picked up back in Wisconsin, and that was $10. Thank you, Hans, for showing me the gold mine that is that place. And the frame came with the brakes, the brake levers, the stem, the bars, and the seat posts, which I reused all of that. The rear derailleur I got at my local co-op for $8. The crankset was $8 at the co-op as well. And along with that, I ended up putting this Salsa chainring on, which I had sitting around, but if I would have gotten it at the co-op, it would have been about $10. Normally a chainring is like $2 or $3, but this is a little bit of a nicer one, so they up it in price, so I'm trying to be fair there. The saddle I had kicking in my garage, but I'm going to go off my co-op pricing because I guarantee I could go there and find this exact same saddle for about $5. The tires, I'm going off internet pricing because I work at a shop, so I get things at a discount. And I found them as cheap as $18, so that's $36 for the set. The wheel set came off another bike, and that included the spacers and the rear cog for the single speed setup. And those were, I'm gonna call them $10 because the whole bike was $50, and I've already reused the rest of it. I've already gotten my money back out of the bike, so I'm just gonna call them $10. They're pretty basic, no name wheel set. The cables and the housing, I'm gonna call 15. I tried to use as much offcut and stuff that I could find from other projects that was kicking around. If you were to go into a shop, you might pay a little bit more. If you were to have a co-op nearby, you might pay a little bit less than that. I'm just gonna call it 15, give or take $1 or $2. The chain, I'm gonna call $5. It's a random use chain. I think I actually put 2 chains together to make this one, so that's pretty easy. And then the pedals and the grips, the pedals are Alien Nation pedals, and the grips are some knockoff grips. They were given to me by a friend, not for this project, just because he's like, hey, do you want these? And I was like, yeah. If you're nice enough to find someone that gives you things, sick. Thank you, Brendan. I'm gonna price these at like $15. The pedals are used, the grips are used, there's a little bit of wear on them. They don't exactly match. They're not the nicest of things. I'm pretty sure you could get these grips for like $1 or $2 brand new on like AliExpress. So I'm just gonna call it $15. The bottom bracket, I did get a little bit of a nicer sealed bottom bracket just because it's what we had at the shop. And I'm just gonna go off shop pricing for this one. It was $21. And that brings me up to $143. All of the little bolts and whatnot were all reused. The skewers were reused. Pretty much nothing else was changed from the original bike. I put spacers on the backside of the chain ring, but you could make those out of literally any type of metal. So you could get those for free. I just had some conveniently kicking around from an old crankset, so I put those on. Obviously, I'm not including labor because if you were to go and build this bike yourself, you know, it's on your own time. So that's whatever it's worth to you. So yeah, $143. I'd say is pretty dope for this thing. And yeah, once again, this is a contest and it's open to everybody. So if you can get a bike done by February 29th, and use the hashtag cheapbikebuildoff on Instagram. We need a good photo of your bike and then maybe a type of build list or something where you source the parts from, how much it cost you. Would just be nice in case you do win. We gotta have some kind of proof, so maybe just have that ready. We're gonna have a photo only voting system that hopefully will be up the day after the contest ends. I'm gonna go through and manually screenshot every bike that's in the hashtag that looks like a finished build. If you've been doing a longer form of like a video series or you've been posting a bunch of pictures, use the hashtag still. I'm also just going to put my email somewhere in this video. It'll also be in the description. It's a business only email. And so you can just send me a photo of the finalized bike and a build list. We will be contacting the winner via Instagram. So if you have an Instagram, make sure it's attached. I just want to give a huge shout out again to all the creators that have helped me plan this and helped me promote it. I think it's really fun. This is a really, really cool way to see a bunch of people just come together and get to build really rad bikes for not a lot of money, which is kind of my whole thing. Is cool bikes don't have to be expensive. So thank you. Thank you everybody that has participated. Thank you all the content creators and influencers, or whatever we're calling ourselves, that are joining me. And I'm really stoked to see everybody's final builds. Thanks. I appreciate your support. You know, if you're not subscribed already, you probably should be. And maybe send this video to the friend that you ride cool bikes with. That'd be nice of you.